me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you spit. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something. 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 Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here. And in today's video, we are not going to be talking about Solana. I'm really sorry about the thumbnail. We're having some major technical difficulties. If you saw the thumbnail saying anything about Solana, that is YouTube giving us a lot of trouble. This stream is about Ethereum. If you want to hear what we talked about on Solana, we did a show called Altcoins Anonymous yesterday, which is where that thumbnail is supposed to reside. So if you want to learn more about Solana and its technicals, make sure to go and check that out. But today we're going to be talking about Ethereum because none other than Cathie Wood, the CEO of ARK Invest themselves, a $52 billion investment management company, has come out and made some statements about Ethereum that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be diving into the technical analysis on Ethereum and the Bitcoin technical analysis, and we're also going to be looking at some very, very interesting news having to do with the nation of Panama, because it looks like Panama may be moving in the direction of fully legalizing and adopting Bitcoin as per a bill that is about to be presented to their legislative assembly. We're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's stream. We've got a great one lined up for you today. I am joined, as always, by Mr. T.A. Tim himself. How you doing, Tim?
Doing good. Although tomorrow, that as always will have to be axed because I'll be out tomorrow.
Tim will not be here tomorrow. It's true.
So,
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
but for today, it is as always.
Tim, what are you going to be doing tomorrow?
I have it's my turn to have a planning meeting. Jeb has one a month. I have one a month. We have stuff to do, and it's not all just about the show.
I was hoping you were going to say you're like going to go overthrow a dictator in South America or something cool, but he's just going to a planning meeting. So there you go. We're also joined as always by Smay, our very own producer. How you doing, Smay?
Hi everybody. I'm not doing good. YouTube has apparently having some sick pleasure coming after other YouTubers and us deciding to completely overthrow our operations.
Yeah,
I think it's ridiculous. But also, I'm also doing good because I get to shout out members today.
Boom sauce.
And also, just to real quick answer this question from our good member Felix, who is one of the people I'm going to be shouting out. He says, did any members receive their mugs yet? Mugs are on the way, gentlemen. Mugs are on the way.
Boom.
So the 3 shout outs I have for today is Felix, Danny, Esteva.
Boom. Let's go,
Thank
Felix.
you for being a member. McLovin. Thank you
go,
for being a
McLovin.
member.
Thank you.
And Tom Wilkes. Thank you for being a member.
Thank you very much
guys.
to our membership. If you guys want to sign up and join our membership program, you can do so with the join button right below this show. And also, guys, make sure to smash that like button. I know we can get to 750 likes here in the first 10 minutes or so. There is the site-wide error going on with the thumbnails. It's showing up on PewDiePie's channel and BitBoy Crypto's channel and everybody else's, so we do apologize for that. But we're going to go ahead and dive straight into the content here. I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about Cathie Wood, because Cathie Wood, as I mentioned earlier, is the founder and CEO of ARK Invest. It's a company that was founded in 2014, has $52 billion in assets under management, and this company focuses on investing in innovative and disruptive technologies. What does that sound like? That sounds like blockchain. Cathie Wood is, as you guys know by now, a very staunch proponent of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. She's a big fan of Elon Musk, and she's also a big fan of Jack Dorsey. Part of the reason she likes them is because they like Bitcoin, and she is one of the biggest bulls in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. And we've had some reports coming out over the last couple of days that she has made some statements about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, talking about her own portfolio, talking about her opinions on it. At a conference called SALT, S-A-L-T, on Monday, she had this to say: "I'm fascinated with what's going on in DeFi, which is collapsing the cost of the infrastructure for financial services in a way that I know that the traditional financial industry does not appreciate right now." Basically, what she's saying is that DeFi is making such major strides in the area of financial services. It's making such major strides in the area of collapsing the costs and the complexity of financial services that many of these legacy institutions that have been making so much money for so long off of financial protocols and financial processes and systems and services are not very happy that DeFi is doing very well. And for that reason, she's very bullish on Ethereum. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Ethereum and its technical analysis here in a second. But she also said that from past experience, she believes that no regulator, including the new U.S. SEC chairman Gary Gensler himself, would want to be blamed for preventing a big tech breakthrough. This is another very interesting quote coming from her, and one that I fully agree with. I think that blockchain technology is going to revolutionize the way that we do finance, that we transact domestically and internationally, and I think that we're going to see a major shift in the way that the world does its business moving into this new era of the internet, which is going to have everything to do with blockchain. We're going to talk more about that and interoperability and the new internet of blockchains moving into this afternoon's show called Altcoins Anonymous, so make sure to check that out. That goes live at 3:30 Eastern. But she also has this to say, and then we're going to move on to some questions that I want to ask Tim and that I want to answer myself. She also says this: "I'm very happy he being Gary Gensler of the Securities and Exchange Commission, understands crypto and the merits of Bitcoin in particular. He is a regulator, though, and a hardcore regulator at that." If you guys watch my Twitter, I'll jump over here and show this really quickly. There was a senator named Kennedy who basically asked Gary Gensler, "Why do you act like you are the U.S. business's daddy?" And we got a lot of laughs out of that over on Twitter, so make sure to go and watch that clip. I'm not going to show it here, but go and watch that on my Twitter. It's really, really funny, and Gary Gensler squirms for a few seconds because he's trying to figure out how to respond to that. But it's true. He does act like that. And the traditional financial system is very, very scared of DeFi and Ethereum, and that's why Ethereum is doing so well. It's really important that we go back to basics every once in a while and remember why we're here and remember why these things are doing so well. So, Tim, I have a question for you. What do you think is going through the minds of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and Gary Gensler right now? Do you think that the government, which desperately wants to regulate cryptocurrency, and the government that knows that they're threatened by cryptocurrency, wants to move in the direction of fully adopting Bitcoin, or do you think that they want to move in the direction of heavily regulating it and suppressing it?
Oh, that's a good question. Because here's the thing. We talked about Gary Gensler earlier this week, or no, last week. I think last week. And someone was pointing out, you know, he actually has a lot of history with blockchain technology. But the thing is, it's almost like he hasn't fully grabbed hold of like what significance is. It's almost like he's just doing his job, and his job is to protect the U.S. dollar and to protect the U.S. economy and to make sure. I actually want to give him one positive. I remember there was a big question mark about one of the policies that was coming out on how it would hurt the retail investor, the average retail investor. And actually what he was doing was trying to fight the manipulation that sometimes institutions use to sell off quickly that hurt the retail investor.
Yep.
So we have seen Gary Gensler do some things that are positive for the retail investor. That being said, though, his job is still to regulate things. Regulation ultimately is sometimes needed, but in all reality, it's a restriction on the freedom that people are allowed to do what they want to do. And let's be honest, there are some regulations I'm like, all right, that makes sense. That's probably needed. But my fear is that there's going to be a lot of things that come more from pressure from people who don't know what crypto is. And that's what I was kind of getting at, is that Gary Gensler is, I don't know if he's going to be making all these decisions. I think he's going to be pressured by people who have no idea what crypto actually is. And he's going to be kind of forced to make decisions on their behalf. And it will be detrimental to the average retail investor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has made big strides in the last 4 years in their understanding of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And that might be a good thing because, you know, there is a place for laws. For example, seatbelt laws, they were implemented in, I believe, the mid-1970s, I might be wrong on that, might be the mid-1980s, brought U.S. national seatbelt usage from 16% to 90%. There is a reason that laws and regulations exist. I'm not in any way, shape, or form one of these people that says, we don't need a government, we need to have an anarchic society. It wouldn't work, it wouldn't exist. Everybody's an anarchist until your house burns down and there's no fire truck to come and put it out. But here's the point. There is a way that the government can overreach in that. And I am very much concerned about Gary Gensler and the influence that he has on Capitol Hill, because as we've seen coming out of Congress lately, the Congress of America, of the United States government, is pushing Gary Gensler to, and basically saying, hey, when are we going to see more regulation going on cryptocurrency? Because they're looking at the space that we're in right now and saying, this is the Wild West. What are you doing? This has no structure behind it. And Gary Gensler is being pressured from below him, from his own people in the U.S. SEC, and the people above him in the U.S. Congress, to heavily regulate Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And unfortunately, even though Cathie Wood is right, Gary Gensler does not want to be that guy who stood in the way of a massive technology breakthrough that can make a lot of people very wealthy and bring a lot of jobs to America. He might not have the choice to. So it's easy to hate Gary Gensler because of his position. I would encourage you not to do that. He seems like a half-decent guy, even though I don't quite like most of his policies. For example, when he was in Europe not long ago, he said that cryptocurrency will not survive without regulation, to which I responded, I don't think the U.S. government can can survive without more accountability and oversight. Nevertheless, that is Cathie Wood's opinion on Gary Gensler, but the point of that is that Cathie Wood is incredibly bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum. She's quoted as saying that her portfolio is a 60-40 split, 60% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum. Where have I heard that split before? That's actually our portfolio split, and it has been for quite some time. So very interesting to see Cathie Wood, who's worth $400 million herself, coming out and saying that that's how her portfolio is set up. But with all that said, we want to move quickly here into some Ethereum technical analysis, because I know you guys are very, very excited for what's going on Ethereum. What we are looking at here, and we're going to start here, and then we're going to finish here. We're looking at LuxAlgo. As you guys know, LuxAlgo is a very important and powerful technical indicator that we use in our technical analysis. It helps to give us buy and sell signals so that we have an idea when trends are starting. That's what technical analysis is. We're trying to ascertain when a trend is beginning and ending. LuxAlgo says that the uptrend ended on the 10th of September here on Ethereum and has yet to recover. But if we start moving above where the LuxAlgo sell signal happened, then you would think that, oh, there's going to be a buy signal coming in. So we might be about to see a buy signal showing up on Ethereum. But let's come back to that. Let's start off first by going through all of our bullish technicals. One of the first things that we need to look at here, guys, is our RSI and our RSI divergence. Now, we've been paying close attention to this trend here on the channel over the last several weeks, but there are a couple of updates to it. Number one, we have bearish RSI divergence playing out here and bullish RSI divergence playing out here. There's a downtrend on the RSI and a downtrend on the RSI as support as well. So what we're seeing is that these ones up here are bearish RSI divergence and these twos down here are bullish RSI divergence. The bearish RSI divergence has played out. We saw the major dip on the 7th of September, which was last Tuesday. That means that the bearish RSI divergence has basically done what it said it was going to do. Caused a correction, which more or less leaves us with our bullish RSI divergence. That's very important, and as you guys know, RSI divergence has a whole lot to do with its price target, has a whole lot to do with how large it is. We saw a 25% drop as a result of the bearish RSI divergence. I think there's an argument to be made that we could see a 25% rally as a result of the bullish RSI divergence, which would put us back up close to $4,000 territory. Also, looking down here on the 4-hourly chart, I'm actually going to go to the 1-hourly chart just so we can see it a little closer. There's a falling wedge on Ethereum right here with a downtrending level of resistance right there and a downtrending level of support right there. We broke bullish out of this pattern, and now Ethereum is sitting in a symmetrical triangle pattern looking to break bullish here. Our level of resistance that we're looking at is $3,450, right above us, guys. We broke bullish out of this descending wedge. As you guys know, descending wedges have a 70% likelihood of breaking up. So far, we have. This descending wedge has now had the market move into a symmetrical triangle pattern. Symmetrical triangle patterns are continuation patterns. So if we do a simple price target here, then we should be expecting for Ethereum to be moving up to 3660 as a result of this movement right here. So be looking for Ethereum over the next few days to try to break 3450, our current resistance, and then also 3550 up here based on these levels of resistance that we set not too long ago. So it looks like we may be about to see another leg up here. One of the other things we want to look at here is the fact that when we started breaking bullish out of this wedge, we actually saw a pretty decent spike in volume. Now, we saw a larger spike in volume over here when we had this weird movement back on the 13th of September. I believe that correlated with all the Walmart FUD that we saw going on with Litecoin. A lot of the market moved very quickly to the upside and then very quickly to the downside. Wasn't just Litecoin that got hit, but now we saw that there was volume that confirmed this break to the upside. So I'm pretty confident that we have broken bullish here. That's a good sign. Moving right along here, there is one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is that there was a buy flash down here on the 4-hourly chart, excuse me, on Lux Algo. This buy signal is actually really, really important. And the reason that it is because buy signals on the 4-hourly chart have a very strong track record on Ethereum. We can see right here, this strong buy signal called this uptrend. This one called this uptrend. This one called this uptrend. You get the point. It's a very powerful signal, and we want to pay close attention to what Lux Algo is saying. We don't want to trade only based on it, but we do want to listen when we are getting a signal. Now, of course, there are places where it's not going to be great. For example, right here was not a fantastic area to be buying into Ethereum just based off of a buy signal. But right now, what we're seeing is a 4-hourly buy signal, a continuation pattern that says we can move further to the upside, a descending wedge that says we can move further to the upside, and we're on the tipping point of seeing a major buy flash show up on the daily chart for Lux Algo. If we do see all of those shorter term things happen on the 1-hour and the 4-hourly chart, then we're probably going to move to the upside, have that buy signal on the daily, and then that could lead to the dominoes falling and the market continuing to move to the upside. But that's a lot. Really quickly, I want to go through the bearish, and then we're going to draw some conclusions here on what Ethereum is going to do next. One of the things that I want to bring to your attention is the TD sequential. The TD sequential down on the hourly chart is showing, let me grab this really quickly, on the 4-hourly chart, excuse me, I misspoke. The TD sequential down on the 4-hourly chart showed a red 9 flash. Now, it was a really interestingly positioned red 9 flash. And also, by the way, this is something I don't talk about a lot, but this is candlestick analysis right here. What this 9 flash is called a hanging man formation. And these generally show up at the top of a trend. So we have a 9 flash showing up on top of what is known as a hanging man formation. The hanging man formation almost always is going to result in the market falling over. I'll see if I can find another example of it really quickly here. I don't think I'll be able to find one that quickly, but the point is here, here's a good example. This is a hanging man. Notice we rallied a little bit farther, but the market pulled back. It's a very powerful candlestick formation, and that's what we're seeing right here. So there are a couple of reasons why we might not be as bullish as we would like to be down on the 1-hourly chart and down on the 4-hourly chart. But in general, the market is bullish. In general, Ethereum is trying to move to the upside. And in general, there are powerful levels of resistance above us, but powerful reasons to believe that we might be about to move to the upside from here. So, Tim, I know you've helped quite a bit with this technical analysis that we just presented. Where do you think Ethereum is going to go?
Quick clarification, just for myself and anyone else who's there. You said a red 9 flash.
The reason I said the reason I said a red 9 flash. Let me grab this really quickly here. Red 9 flash. I said it was red because of the candlestick color. It is.
Okay, gotcha.
I did mean green. Excuse me.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong because I said
you're
green,
right. No, you're right.
The number, but you're right. It was the candle. Yeah, I hear you saying.
Actually, no, I take that back. I do mean red 9 flash. And the reason I mean red 9 flash is because if you call it a green 9 flash, then green indicates bullishness. The reason I say red is because by red, because you can call it green or red because the triangle is green, but the candlestick is red. The reason I call it red is because red indicates bearishness. It's a red 9 flash because it means we're going to go to the downside.
Okay, my terminology, we went the same thing, but I usually call those green 9 flashes, but that's just me not knowing the proper terminology. No, so everything that Jeb just talked about, when you really look at Ethereum in a nutshell, and we're going to talk about a little bit more reason why I think Ethereum is about to go up. Overall, overwhelmingly bullish. Ethereum, actually, if you're looking at this last week when you're comparing it to Bitcoin, and we're going to compare it to Bitcoin here in a second, did not have a very good week. But a lot of times, especially when you pair it with news like what we just saw from Cathie Wood, and we see Ethereum growing in its adoption. That's why there's an argument out there saying, will Ethereum ever flip Bitcoin? We don't think it will. But I understand why people think potentially it will. I think Ethereum is about to have a great week after a small correction. And we're going to see this on Bitcoin too, so I don't want to spoil anything. But I actually think when you look at all these technicals and you follow the reasoning that's happening in the whole market, I think we're about to bump our head on a level and have a small correction that is needed. Because I think one of the other notes I had there, I could be wrong. No, I guess it was Bitcoin that was doing the things with the Bollinger Bands. So with Ethereum, that 9 flash, I think we need a small correction from it. And then the other one was, on the 4-hourly chart. So we are playing out bullish RSI divergence right now. This is a kind of we need to wait and see thing, but unless we see a massive spike in the price of Ethereum, which I do not anticipate, what I mean by that is unless we see a massive green candle happen in the next little bit, we are going to be forming short-term bearish RSI divergence, in which case we will need to correct just a little bit before we resume this bull rally. But again, I do believe this next week, I think that correction is going to happen somewhat today and be over, and we'll resume a rally by, if not tonight, tomorrow at some point.
Yeah, so looking at this chart really quickly here on Ethereum's 4-hourly, I'm actually going to draw just a good example of what you would call Elliott waves. This is called a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave on Elliott's. I'm actually going to be doing some Elliott wave analysis on Polkadot later on today because I've seen some interesting patterns there. So make sure to tune in to Altcoins Anonymous at 3:30 p.m. But what Tim is essentially talking about here would be we're having a leg to the upside right now. We're going to have a small correction, and then we're expecting to move to the upside from there. Now, we don't know what wave 4 and 5 would look like, but Elliott would give us the idea that, hey, we're going to see a small correction, we're going to move to the upside. That's essentially what we're talking about, and that's where I think we're going to go. So I completely agree with you, Tim. I think that we're going to see Ethereum trying to test 3450 and 3550, these critical levels of resistance. And then also, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is the fact that the VPVR has a lot of support beneath us. It's around $3,200 where the POC, point of control, is on VPVR. Very, very powerful. And in case we do need to go down and test 3,200, we do have that support. So in general, I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum, but I want to hear what you think. Let us know in the next 7 days. Are we going to see Ethereum move drastically to the upside, or are we going to see a small correction? Let's hear what you think. With that said,
there was one thing I don't know. I don't know if you want to touch on this later, but like what also plays into the bullish camp, and I think it's on the notes there, is when you look at Ethereum over Bitcoin, because we're going to do Bitcoin TA here in a little bit, and we're going to see some bullish signs in Bitcoin as well. But there's a great reason for thinking Ethereum's about to have a good week by looking at the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart as well.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about that?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good point. Want to talk about that really quickly, guys. There is some Ethereum over Bitcoin action going on here that I meant to show you. Let's look at that really quickly. Ethereum over BTC has a very, very interesting pattern going on here. And I've been studying Elliott wave theory quite a bit lately. And one of the things that this looks like right here is boom. That's what that looks like. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and we're in the 4th wave right now. Elliott would imply that we're about to see a break to the upside on ETH BTC, and this is going to transition us into our Bitcoin content here. There is a downtrending level of resistance on ETH BTC and a downtrending level of support here on ETH BTC, forming what we call a descending wedge. This descending wedge is likely to break to the upside because descending wedges in general, break in the opposite direction that you expect the market, they break in the opposite direction that they're pointed. So this wedge is pointed to the downside. That would expect us to break to the upside. Now, the interesting thing here is just applying a little bit of Elliott theory. Like I said, it's the kind of pet technical analysis project I'm working on right now, is learning more about Elliott wave theory. This would essentially, since we're in a rising wedge, look something like this. If Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC corrections were to play out, we would see an impulse wave moving all the way up here, probably to 0.08, which would see Ethereum gain probably about 2% market dominance. And then following Elliott wave theory and also following the fact that rising wedges break to the downside, we could see a movement to the downside like this moving into the rest of this year, where Ethereum starts to lose some of its market dominance back to Bitcoin. So the point here is short term, it looks like Ethereum may be gathering up some of the market dominance away from Bitcoin, but potentially we could see something called an ABC correction in the next couple of months that would lead to Bitcoin recapturing some of that market dominance. So keep an eye on that. We will keep you guys up to date on that.
Yeah. No, ultimately, you know, when I found this, I think I found the ascending wedge over a week ago. And then this week is when I formed that descending wedge, so that drawing that I did right there. This is what I anticipate is going to happen in the price action. So this is just my theory, is right now, I think we see the entire market going up. We're just going to see Ethereum take the lead. We've been talking about that now for a couple of weeks, how it seems like Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum just keep flip-flopping who takes the lead. I think we're about to see Ethereum take the lead with Bitcoin right behind it, and then Cardano lag potentially just a little bit. I think Cardano is actually going to stay kind of close to where Bitcoin is in terms of dominance. I do think, though, and this goes along with a prediction that a lot of people, not just this show, makes, but that we're going to see an explosive action in Bitcoin's price, that when you look at that ascending wedge and how traditionally that means Ethereum is probably going to be dropping down in terms of dominance, that does not mean that the price of Ethereum is going to go down while Bitcoin goes up. I think both prices will go up. It's just that Bitcoin is going to be so exponentially growing that it's going to take back some of that dominance that Ethereum has been taking for a while. And then eventually we'll see another flip. We'll see another almost like a rubber band effect where Bitcoin had its rally and now Ethereum is the one who's going to start taking the lead.
There we go. Well, guys, tell us what you think. What do you think Ethereum is going to do over the next 7 days? I just posted a poll. Looks like 83% of you guys believe that we're going to move to the upside. We're going to go ahead and move on to our Bitcoin technical analysis. But before we do, I want to tell you to smash that like button. I know we can get over 1,000 likes not too long from now. We can do that in the next couple of minutes. And I want to hand the floor to Smay because he has a shout out that he wants to do.
Yes, I do, everybody. All right, guys. First of all, I want to give a special shout out to our good friend, and I hope you're watching today, Zach Bradley. He is an absolutely amazingly talented artist, and he has been providing us some beautiful artwork to put on some shirts and stuff. So I want to show you guys what you can look forward to here and coming soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and flash it on the screen. Look at that, guys. Look at that. It's absolutely amazing. Guys, I put his link to his Twitter in the bio, so please go follow him. I know that he has an Indiegogo. Go check it out.
Go follow him.
Go follow him, guys. I'm pretty sure he does commissions, so go follow him and give him some business, guys. Let's go.
Do it, guys. Thank you very much to Zach Bradley. We have been very blessed with Zachs. We have a Zach who works for us, who is our editor, and then we also have Zach Bradley, who is making some incredible content. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely amazing. With that said, let's go ahead and move on really quickly here into some Bitcoin technical analysis. I know you guys are interested in what's going on the old bit of the coin, and one of the main things to bring to your attention is the golden cross. Now, I was on Around the Blockchain over on Ben's channel yesterday, and they asked me about the golden cross, and I explained it like this. The golden cross has seen, let me see if I still have that chart up from yesterday. I don't think I do, but I'll show you. The golden cross has shown up 7 times in the history of Bitcoin. I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief rundown of all of them because this is the topic of discussion that everybody's talking about on technicals for Bitcoin right now. This is one of our bullish technicals. If we look into the history of Bitcoin, we are going to find exactly 7 golden crosses. We saw one in February of 12. We saw one in July of 15 and October of 15. Then we saw one in February of 20 and May of 20. And then we're seeing one right now. I also forgot one. There's one right here in April of 19. So these are the previous golden crosses on Bitcoin. Let's do some technical analysis on these. We saw this golden cross happen when Bitcoin was trading at $5. I wish I could go back in time in a DeLorean and buy myself some Bitcoin at $5. Drop a 1 in chat if you wish you could do that also. After that golden cross, Bitcoin rallied 20,000%. Don't think I need to go into too much detail about how bullish that was. Next golden cross, we saw a 40% dump in 40 days. So, not perfect. But moving forward there, we saw a golden cross happen literally 2 months later, and that preceded the entire bull market. So far, the 2 major bull markets in the history of Bitcoin have been called by golden crosses. There's sometimes a fluke. But that's just the way that goes. Then we also see that there is a golden cross over here that happened in April of 19, and that led to our rally from $5,000 to $13,000, 150% in 7 days. So the golden cross is great there. There was also another golden cross here in February of 2020. I don't really count that one, though, because in March, we all know what happened in March of 2020. Not really fair to blame a technical indicator for a geopolitical event like what we saw last spring. We also saw another golden cross in May that preceded this entire bull market, and not this entire bull market because the bull market is not over, but this entire first segment of the bull market. And we saw Bitcoin rally 700% in 330 days. So golden crosses have a pretty great track record. And by the way, there is one, I know there's going to be that one analyst out there who's going to be like, Jeb, you forgot one. There was a golden cross here in July of 2014. I'm not counting this. This is nonsense right there. That was a fake out right there. So I'm not counting that. Nevertheless, the golden cross has a very powerful historical record, and it does generally lead to bullishness on Bitcoin. With that said, the golden cross has come into play, and we've now seen some bullishness start to form on Bitcoin. There's a few more bullish things I want to cover here on the daily chart. Namely, there has been a bullish engulfing candlestick formation show up here on the daily chart. From the 13th of September's candlestick to the 14th of September's candlestick, we've seen that the following green candlestick was larger than the previous, and that is a very good sign. There's also this candlestick right here, which is called an inverted hammer on the 11th of September. This inverted hammer is a candlestick formation that generally speaks to bullishness. The reason for that is because we see this long upper shadow. Now, we do see a long lower shadow here on the 13th of September, which isn't terribly encouraging. But of course, we did have that Walmart FUD with Litecoin, so that's a bit of a fluke. But this candlestick right here is not on the 11th of September. So a little bit of candlestick analysis says we're going up. On the Lux Algo, I want to show you this because down on the 4-hourly chart, we've also seen a buy signal just the same way as we saw happen on Ethereum yesterday. We saw a buy signal show up here, and it was actually a pretty strong buy signal because we are now moving into green territory. We were purple, which means, we're kind of bullish, and now we're green, which means, yes, we are bullish. It's confirmation. We should be moving to the upside from here. Now, Tim's going to take it away for a second, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about Phase D of Wyckoff. He, in this room, is the resident expert on Wyckoff, so I'm going to hand it over to him. Tim, you got something to say on that, I know.
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now, and this is what I'm watching the price action happen right now is the confirmation I needed, because there was, when I did the TA this morning, a small chance that we were just hovering barely above the top or the resistance of the trading channel and that we were going to need to come back down maybe one more time. Wasn't a guarantee. It was just one thing I was watching for. However, now that we have moved to 47,700, I think it is pretty, I want to be cautious of this, but pretty safe to say we have confirmed the break above that resistance. What I also really liked was the volume. If you look at the volume at that same the same candle that broke through that level of resistance, we saw an uptick. That was really, really positive. That showed that the bears said, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. We're ready. Now, what we traditionally see, according to Richard Wyckoff, as we've been talking, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, is the composite man loves breaking through this and then doing another shakeout. What that shakeout does is it brings us back down, and instead of using that level, which is 47,300 as resistance, we now are going to use it as support, and we call it a backup. And this gives us strength to that level to continue to move on. If you go back, and I'm assuming, Jeb, you're on your screen. If you go back to what we just saw with Wyckoff accumulation back here, between May and July, we did the same kind of thing, and actually we went a little bit below what I would say. Well, no, wait, hold on a second. Just a second. I need to redraw my resistance on that trading channel. Yeah, we touched it, we came back down. Let's see, I'm talking about right now, July 30th. We touched it, came back down. When we broke through it, this is why I was constantly saying we need to come back down to that level of about 42.5. We never fully got all the way back down to it, but we got pretty stinking close with this most recent drop. I think we're going to see a similar thing happen here. I think we're going to see it play out the way it really should, and I think we're going to probably bounce off of 48, maybe 48.5, come back down and touch that 47,300 before we resume the rally, pushing past 49,000, then 50,000. And I actually, if you're looking at the VPVR, once we confidently break through the 40, let me look at my notes one more time. I think it's about 47.7 to 48.3. 48.3. Once we break through 48.3, we actually see a pretty good / easy road to get all the way back up to 53 so we can restart this bull rally before we had that manipulation bring us back down into the 40s. Guys, overall, this is a very, very bullish sign long term. Just be prepared. We're looking at a rally right now. I think we're now sitting right below 47,800. This is a great sign. There's a lot of bullish indicators. It probably will go up a little bit more, but don't be surprised when we see a little shakeout. That's what the composite man likes to do.
Yep.
They're wanting to get you out of it and think, oh no, was I wrong about the bull rally? And then when they're ready, again, looking at that level around this resistance that's now support, that's when they'll say, all right, let's go again.
Yeah, he's absolutely right, and that actually follows along with, say it with me, Elliott wave theory. Like I said, I've been studying that a lot lately. What he's talking about right here is that second sub-wave to the downside. You get that first leg to the upside, then you got to have that small little correction, that little corrective movement, and then you get to keep going. That's what we're talking about here, is rallying up to about 48.3, if I'm hearing you right, Tim, and then a correction down to 47.3, and then we will continue on up to price targets like $50,000. Once we get closer to that, we'll go into more detail on those price targets. I love it. I think that is what we are going to see happen. That's what I'm talking about a short-term correction followed by a longer-term rally. So good deal on that. With all of that said, though, I'm going to do something that I absolutely hate doing, and I'm going to hit the trash button and take off all my technical indicators and my drawings. It always, tell me in the chat, it hurts my soul when I hit that trash button, and it just hurts.
It's like all the work you've been doing for so long.
It's just gone.
Sometimes you have notes from like months.
I know.
And then you hit the delete, but it's
and
so clean though. That's the one good news. It's clean now.
It just looks so much better. Anyway, moving right along here, we need to talk about our bearish technical indicators because we got some conclusions to draw and we don't have time to wait for them. Right now, we are seeing some bearish RSI divergence down here on the 4-hourly chart, on the 1-hourly chart, excuse me, and you need to be aware of that. There is an uptrending level of resistance and a downtrending level of resistance on the RSI. That is bearish, and it does indicate we're going to see a correction. But hang on a second, didn't we just say we're supposed to see a correction? Yes, we did. So this is not a bad thing. It is bearish, but it's not a bad thing. It follows right along with the theory that Tim and I just laid out for you. So I don't think that's anything that we should be concerned about. Furthermore, down on the 4-hourly chart, notice we're talking a lot about the 4-hourly chart, and we're not talking about the daily chart. The daily chart looks okay. It's the 4-hourly chart that we're seeing corrections. The 9 flash happened. A red 9 flash happened. We've continued for 3 candlesticks. If we continue for another 4th candlestick, then we're going to start seeing discoloration on the TD sequential. And that is going to lead to a big correction, big drop-off. So that would also follow what we're talking about that 1, 2, 3 pattern here on Elliott, where we go up 1, down to 47.3, and then continue on from there. That's what we're looking for. That 9 flash on TD sequential and also that RSI divergence indicates that might happen. One of the other things we want to bring to your attention is the fact that since we've rallied so far so quickly, we are seeing that we're riding the outside of the Bollinger Bands. And doing that means, okay, we're probably going to have a corrective event at some point. So here's what I think, and here's what Tim, I believe, thinks. I don't want to put words in his mouth, so tell me if I'm misrepresenting you at all.
Go for it.
I think that we're going to rally up probably another $400. Then we're going to have that correction movement that we talked about on that second leg down to around $47,300. Wyckoff supports that. Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phases, a motive impulse wave phase indicates that that's something that could happen. So both of the theories that Tim and I look at, Wyckoff followed by all of our technical analysis, followed by short-term technicals and long-term technicals, and us looking at the market as a whole, indicate to me that we're going to see a little bit of a rally, followed by a little bit of a correction, followed by a pretty big rally, and a recovery back up close to 50,000.
So you think about 48.2?
48.2 is the resistance?
Yeah, you think we're going to bounce off of 48.2?
I think it's going to be somewhere in the 48s. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to be.
And that's why I'm not against that one. I think potentially we might even a wick there. I think there's a... Clean numbers have psychological barriers.
They definitely do.
So 48.2 is so close to just 48. I don't think $200 is significant enough for it to be a big difference.
That's true.
I think a wick will go through it. I think the psychological barrier is going to be the 48. I think it's just going to be a place
we
where
just touched.
Did we just touch it?
No, I mean, we touched it. We got to 47,950 this hour.
Oh, that's not what my chart. Okay, we're just on different charts. Mine says 47,862. That's okay. I think, and it doesn't mean perfectly. It doesn't mean we're going to see the top be exactly 48,000 and then see a bunch of zeros. It's going to go 48,000. We might even get all the way to 100, maybe 200. It just doesn't stop the fact that let's take Wyckoff and Elliott wave out of it. If you do nothing but look at the technicals, and you're looking at, which those are technicals, but if you're looking at the RSI divergence, if you're looking at the MACD, those are signs saying like, hey, we need to correct a little bit. Even, I think another thing we did not talk about was the Bollinger Bands. We are sitting currently at the top of Bollinger Bands, I believe, on both the 4-hourly and the hourly chart, which I love it. It means we're continuing to go up. However, we need to correct off that. The good news is, and I put this in the notes, I think, the good news is when you look at the Bollinger Bands and how vertical we are right now in them, just to get off the top, we don't even need to go down necessarily. We need to correct and move sideways.
Yep.
But what I'm pairing that information with, we know we need to correct a little bit. We know that this steep momentum of bullish action needs to pause for a second, paired with the composite man and the Elliott waves that Jeb talks about. We're going to have a shakeout where we bring the price back down to a certain level and retest a number. That's why I'm pretty confident in my prediction of around 48,000. We're getting super close to where we just need to do some form of correction, whether it's sideways or whether it's down. Then you pair that with the other news, and it's like, all right, I think it is going to be down. I think it's going to be trying to discourage people. I wouldn't even be that surprised if sometime today an article gets published that's a super FUD article.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all.
Because they're going to try to what they want to do is not just shake you out of your position, but shake you out of thinking you should be thinking that we already hit the top. How many times in comments, you guys reading comments, do we see somebody get on here and be like, what are you guys talking about? The bull market's over. We're in the bear market. And it's like, okay, like this is just, they feed on things like that. They want you to believe that we are already done. The price has nowhere to go but down. And that's how they're going to shake you out.
Yep, absolutely. So tell us what you think in the comments. I'm actually going to go to full screen really quickly and post a poll. Where are we going next? Let me post this really quickly. We're going to start doing these. Actually, no, I'm not, because we already have our other poll. Yes, I am. Here we go. Let's do this. Technical difficulties all around. Where is Bitcoin headed next? Up or down? Want to hear what you think? Let us know in that poll. Guys, we're going to go ahead and move on here.
That was what your last poll was. Oh, you put
that
Bitcoin.
Was Ethereum.
Oh, you said Ethereum.
This is Ethereum. This is Bitcoin. Little bit of a difference there.
And the clarification
Ethereum,
is,
that's why I was
clarification
confused.
is in the next 7 days too, because I don't think you put it in there.
I didn't put it in
there. Because like we
I
just said, we think short term down, but then
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, make sure when you answer that, it's 7 days.
Absolutely. So guys, I have a bill here. Let's go ahead and show you this. Obviously, I'm not going to read the whole thing on stream. It is 33 pages long, but it is coming out of Panama. Respected President, making use of the legislative initiative conferred to me by Article 108 of the Internal Regulations of the National Assembly and acting in my capacity as the legislator of the Republic of Panama, I present to the plenary of the National Assembly the law proposal titled Crypto Law, making Panama compatible with the digital economy, blockchain, cryptocurrency assets, and the internet. This has been put forward by Congressman Gabriel Silva. I probably got that name right, actually. I normally butcher Hispanic names. I think I got that one right. He's introduced that bill to help introduce digital currency within the nation, and he has several different points here. One of his first points that he starts this proposal with is the speed at which the internet has been adopted. From the 90s until now, we've gone from less than 10% internet usage to more than 90% in many first world countries, and he has compared that to the growth of the internet of blockchains called cryptocurrencies. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Polkadot in this afternoon's Altcoin Anonymous video and stream, at 3:30. We're going to talk about interoperability and how all of that works. We're going to dive into all of that, but here we want to talk about the internet of blockchains and how he wants to bring it to his nation. We want to go ahead and also talk about really quickly how this is going to look versus El Salvador. Because as you guys know, El Salvador has moved in the direction of fully adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. And it's gotten me wondering, it's gotten me thinking about the question about what is legal tender. You know, we've been throwing around this word called legal tender, and it has made up so many headlines over the last 6 to 12 months about El Salvador's bringing legal tender of bringing Bitcoin as legal tender to their nation, and now everybody's talking about Ukraine might be doing it, and now Panama might be doing it. So what is legal tender? I want to read you a definition here really quickly on what legal tender is. Legal tender is any currency that is required is the key word there, by governing law to be accepted as a form of payment of debt. If I buy a candy bar, then I now have the candy bar and I got to pay for it, right? Because it's in my hand. The way I pay that debt is with a legal tender. If a business, if a nation, if anyone is forced to use and accept a certain currency, then it has been made legal tender. So I want to clarify, this bill does not force businesses to accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as legal tender. And it also, as far as I can tell, now it is a long document, as far as I can tell, it doesn't force governments to accept it as legal tender. But it does do a couple of things. Here are some of the major things that it is attempting to do. This bill wants to help allow citizens to pay taxes in cryptocurrency. It wants to help them allow them to pay fees and other government obligations like, fines in digital currencies. And it also has several objectives, one of them being to expand public services digitization to make them more transparent. The legislator who brought this forward, Gabriel Silva, wants this to be a way that the nation can be more transparent. He also wants this bill to provide regulatory clarity so that businesses and foreign investment and local and domestic investment can thrive in the nation so that these businesses know how they're going to be regulated. This is something I've been talking about for a very long time. And they also want to, through this bill, promote universal access to all Panamanian citizens for cryptocurrencies. The Panamanian government fully believes that the digitization of their nation is going to be part of what leads to Panama having a resurgence and being very, very well off this century. So, Tim, I have a question for you. If Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency assets are not going to be mandated by law in Panama from this bill, and by the way, the bill has not passed, this is being proposed. If this is not going to be mandatory in the same way it was in El Salvador, should we be expecting the same level of excitement around this bill, and should we see the same level of fundamental development around this bill like we saw with El Salvador?
Well, when you said mandatory, it's not mandatory for people to use it, but is it going to be mandatory for people to offer it? For is it optional to pay your taxes in it? Is it?
It'll be optional.
Have to receive
It'll
it
be optional to pay your taxes in it.
Will it be optional for any store? Because in El Salvador, for example, one of the stores we talked about was every single business is going to be made to take Bitcoin. Is it going to be the same in Panama? Is Panama, are they going to have the options, hey, you can pay in crypto or you can pay, or there's going to be some businesses where it's like, nope, we do not accept crypto here?
Well, no, it'll be an option where local businesses are able to say, hey, we're offering cryptocurrency, and local municipalities will be able to say, hey, we're going to allow you to potentially pay in taxes if you want to. It opens up the court that you can, but not that you have to.
All right, so my answer to that one then is that I believe that would bring a less excitement. First of all, also Panama is a smaller country than El Salvador. Just looked it up. El Salvador has 6.5 million people in their population, at least according to data, and then Panama is 4 million. My bad.
Small nation.
Smaller nation, but especially I think it's healthier. That was one thing about El Salvador is that when you go from 0 to 100 overnight, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Not that I'm mad about it, because ultimately, I think that's going to be a good long-term decision, but I think it could have some short-term impacts that are going to be a little negative. With Panama, it sounds like they're trying to move this way long-term, but they do not want the short-term negatives. So what that means is it's a little bit healthier of an adoption, but at the same time, it's not as aggressively positive in terms of bringing mass adoption immediately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the reason that this is actually a very bullish thing is because it's not making it be legal tender and be forced. So this is not a bill, contrary to what every headline in crypto is saying right now. This is not a bill to introduce Bitcoin as legal tender. Because remember, the definition of legal tender has that word required. Governments are not going to be required to accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and we're not going to be requiring, or they're not going to be requiring businesses to accept it as legal tender. That's why I want to bring this up, so I can clarify that, because there's some misinformation going around in crypto. Nevertheless, I still think that this is a very big deal for Panama, because it moving to legal tender is obviously the vision. I want to make sure that's clear also, because it is obvious that Panama, and especially Gabriel Silva, who is proposing this bill, has the vision of Bitcoin becoming legal tender in their nation. So that's probably the next step. I want to make sure that we're aware of that. Here's the deal. This will be a stepping stone to adoption of Bitcoin. And this is also going to bring out all the haters who said, oh, I don't want El Salvador to adopt Bitcoin because it's too far too fast. Well, now they're doing it slowly like you wanted. Are we still going to see the same people hating, and now they're just going to come up with other reasons? Yeah. It's going to make people that don't like Bitcoin very, very obvious. Because a lot of people came out and said, yeah, Bitcoin being forced on the businesses of El Salvador is too drastic of a step. Well, now it's not being forced. It's just an option, and you'll be able to pay your taxes in it. And Panama is going to be promoting the digitization of their nation and the transparency of their government. I don't see anything in this bill, from what I've read anyway. Maybe I'm missing something that seems bad. This seems like a very good, bullish bill for the nation of Panama. So I'm going to be watching very closely to see who comes out and says that this is a bad idea, because this requires absolutely nothing of anyone. all it does is attempts to make their nation more transparent. Tell us what you think in the comments and in the chat. Do you think that this is a good thing for Panama? Do you think this is a bad thing for Panama? How do you think that this is going to impact the future adoption and legislation of Bitcoin as legal tender moving into the next 5 years? I think that in the same way El Salvador has mandated it as legal tender, I think we're probably going to see the same thing happen in Panama. And by the way, many other Central and South American nations moving into the rest of this decade. With that said, Tim, do you have any final thoughts on Panama?
No, what I would love to know is, and I need to do research on this, what's the age of the president, or what's the government structure of Panama? I do not know,
Honorable Legislature Cristiano Adames is the president of the National Assembly.
Yeah, because another thing I think that we potentially could even talk about is, the youthfulness of Bukele. I almost had a lisp. I had a lisp right there. Bukele's youth. Very energetic. He wants to move very fast. He sees this. He's done his homework. He's like, this is the future of my country. Let's go. I want to see more about Panama's. It sounds like they're almost like, hey, we see the benefits too. We just want to be a little bit more cautious with it. But like you said, I think the concept of this will kind of really shake out some of the naysayers of El Salvador, because Panama's doing it the way that they claim that they would have preferred it to be done.
Yep.
But I think I still have a problem with that. I think you were dead on with that assessment. We got to kind of watch this unfold. We've been watching the Panama story unfold. This is just we're getting a little bit more close to official, which is exciting, but a lot still to be seen.
Yep.
I do know, unless we have anything else, we have a couple super chats that we can read. We're probably not going to be able to read all of them, but we'll take a couple of them and go at it. Gabriel Velez said, GM, I watch the show every day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Big question. Would you rather have 14 ETH or 1 Bitcoin in the next 5 years? Opinions, much love to all of you.
14 ETH, probably.
Yeah.
Just because Ethereum has historically, and by historically I mean the last 3 to 5 years, outperformed Bitcoin pretty substantially. And the reason is because Bitcoin is a store of value, but Ethereum has a product. It is that simple. I think it's going to be a long time before Ethereum flips Bitcoin, if ever. But Ethereum has historically outperformed Bitcoin, and that's a trend I'm willing to bet on.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good. Like if he had said 5 Ethereum.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming the conversion rate it's about 1. It's about 1 divided by 14, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're sitting at.
I think we're expecting Ethereum's dominance to grow.
Yeah.
Just because it is a smaller project. I think the 1 in 14 is an easy answer for Ethereum. It's when we lower that number that it becomes a really good debate.
Yeah, right now 14 ETH represents 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, so. But yeah. Okay. Moving forward, we got one from Matt C saying, wanted to send a warm welcome to Mrs. Taylor Warren. Ooh. Dinner for you and Tim. He said in me, and Kelly called him out for this. That would be hard to do, Matt C, but thank you so much. Taylor's been in chat. I think she's now a moderator, right, Smay? Yep, that is my wife. She is, as Matt C even put it in one of the comments, my better half. So glad to have her here. Thank you so much, Matt C. Eric Tower said, good morning to all. Oh, another Taylor one. Taylor was very nice and quick to respond, so thank you, all of you, for your help through email.
Go, Taylor.
Delayed Washington Day, Philippians 4:13. Yeah, no, for those of you who don't know, Taylor is, when you're getting emails back, it is most likely Taylor. Every now and then it's somebody else, but more often than not it's Taylor. We do have something we need to make sure people know, though. And our team right now, the 3 of us on the show right now, we're here for the show. Almost everyone else in our company is moving around to find a solution to scammers. We had an email yesterday. Someone reached out to us about someone who reached out to them claiming to be Crypto Jeb and scam them out of money. We just want you to know, we do have a business. We do sell things, but we would never. I think this scam specifically was asking the person, we'll invest. It was claiming to be Crypto Jeb, saying, if you give us this money, we'll invest for you.
Yep.
We do not do that.
We don't do that.
We will never reach out to you asking you for money to invest for you. The only thing that we sell here on this channel is coffee is the C2A. Cryptocurrency technical analysis. We have other things, but we would never reach out to you guys asking you just to give us money to work for you. So make sure, if you are worried at all, the only way you'll be reached out to is from an email from our support email, support@cryptojeb.com.
Yep.
Anything else, anyone else, that is not us. Be very skeptical, and I would even say
we have our newsletter. What email?
But our newsletter, I think, even comes from that too. Yeah, and we're not selling anything on the newsletter.
Yeah, no, we're not selling anything.
Yeah, so if you get reached out to by a Crypto Jeb person trying to get money from you,
always check the spelling, by the way, because it is very common for scammers to put an extra R or change an O into a 0. It's pathetic. frankly. But
well, I think even just to make this a even better thing is if anyone reaches out to you and says, "Hey, give me money and I can invest it for you and give you money back," don't do it. Don't do it. Like, there are so many scammers going after people in crypto because it's new and they're able to, and it's not as regulated. You have to be extra vigilant. You cannot trust anyone. There you go.
It is really sad, but it is true, and you guys need to be careful.
We have another super chat from our favorite landscaper from Knoxville, Tennessee, Rick4962. I love this guy. He's
Yard Dog!
Yard Dog.
Have you gotten any business from this yet, Yard Dog?
I really hope you
I hope he's gotten a contract from that.
Yard Dog!
If you are in Knoxville, Tennessee, at least give him a shot.
Let's give him a try.
When a token is Ethereum based, how does that affect the price of Ethereum?
When a token is Ethereum based, how does that affect the price of Ethereum? Well, Ethereum is the interstate highway system of cryptocurrency. That's what all protocols are. They are infrastructure at their core. They are the infrastructure that you build a society or applications upon. So if you start building a bunch of things like different tokens or different NFTs or DeFi protocols on top of Ethereum, then it is going to lead to valuation moving into Ethereum. You can't really measure it, but in the same, it's like, try and figure out what the interstate highway system is worth to America, then you got to figure out how much commerce is moving through it and how many vehicles are. It's complicated, but it does have an effect. You would not have the interstate highway system be as valuable if it didn't, do something. So the fact that Ethereum is doing something is very, very helpful to its price. So that's absolutely a good point.
We have another one from Kelly saying, Panama implementing Bitcoin over crypto as legal tender. The Panama Canal, huge impact on global trading, getting involved in Bitcoin as they use the Panama Canal. This is very bullish.
That is a good point. Yeah. Theoretically, if Panama does adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, the most valuable waterway on planet Earth could start accepting Bitcoin. That's a very good point.
And I saw someone else comment in chat. They're like, listen, Panama may not be a massive country in terms of population.
Got a lot of influence.
But it's got a lot of tourists. A lot of tourism, a lot of stuff happening there. It's not just about population. So they're right. So thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's always, I think with any adoption story, you're always going to see that there's a somewhat of a ripple effect throughout the world because, a lot of countries are connected in a lot of ways that aren't really suspected. So, the Panama Canal, that's a huge reason now people have to interact with them with Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think the big thing about El Salvador being a small country was it was first. It will forever be known El Salvador was the first. When we see countries like Panama, we heard, I don't think there's any credibility from the government, but yesterday talking about Ukraine, potentially them adopting crypto as a legal tender. Those are big things because of the size and influence of the countries. When it comes to El Salvador, not really sure how much effect they have over world policy, but the fact that they were first and they set precedences and they were a testing ground, that is why they will go down in the history books. El Salvador will be one of the biggest name countries when talking about legal tender in crypto.
Absolutely.
But they also produce a lot of, I know a lot of factories and stuff that are linked to American companies are in El Salvador. So the thing is, even though it was a small company, it's setting the groundwork for companies to experience.
Absolutely.
The cryptocurrency.
It is a testing ground. It is a testing ground.
It is indeed a test bed.
We got another super chat from Corey saying, good morning, guys. I'm watching you off my phone and smart TV, off two different accounts. Liked it off both. Love you guys. Well, that's creative.
Thank you very much. Smash that like button if you haven't already. I know we can get to 1,500 likes before we wrap it out here, guys.
That's a move right there.
That is a move.
Several YouTube accounts just to like and subscribe.
Well, that's what I did when I got started. Our first 10 subscribers, I was 8 of them. Not really.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Before we go, there is one more thing I want to mention, and that is the thing that brings you this channel, which is our very own Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you guys don't know, CT2A is the place where I teach you everything that I know about technical analysis. If I know it about technical analysis, I'm putting it in here. I want you guys to be able to learn technical analysis in the same way that I have over the last 4 years, that Tim has over the last year that he's been working with us. I want you guys to be successful in cryptocurrency, and the way you do that is by investing in your own education. As you can see here, the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy has 45 videos, over 12 hours of content. We cover things like how to dollar cost average. We cover things like market sentiment. We talk about intuition. Intuition is the instinct that you have. How does a lion hunt? It hunts on instinct. How does a profitable trader make money? They do it with their intuition, their instinct. It's very, very important. We talk about risk and reward. We talk about mass psychology. When Tim talks about that something man. What am I trying to say?
The composite man.
The composite man. Thank you very much. When you're talking about the composite man, you're talking about mass psychology and how people are thinking. We also go over all of our top indicators that I use. We talk about Lux Algo, RSI divergence, continuation patterns, wedges, pennants, all of these things that you need to understand. We're going to break it down all for you here in this course. We've helped serve 5,000 students and taught them how to become profitable traders and investors in the cryptocurrency markets. If you have gone through CT2A and you are an alumni, drop a 1 in chat. If you love CT2A and you would recommend it, please feel free to ask anybody in chat or anyone in our Discord server, for example, what they think. I want you guys to make an educated purchase before you join, but I do think it'll be a fantastic decision and it will help to put you on the right path so that you can become successful in cryptocurrency markets. Make sure to also follow us on our social media at CryptoJeb over on Instagram and Twitter. You can find all of those links down below, but that's all I got for you today. We also have to talk about price predictions. I completely forgot about price predictions.
Well, we'll just update them really quickly.
Yeah, let's do it really quickly.
At the moment, we had yesterday the prediction. We gave these predictions yesterday. I think Jeb is currently in the lead for Bitcoin, despite the fact that it only has a $750 window. But he is in the lead for that one. Smay is in the lead for Ethereum. He is the lowest there. He's actually the lowest in all three of them. And I think Jeb is in the lead on the window on Cardano as well. But we have a long way to go. Friday, I love my predictions. I'm the highest predictor on all three of them. Let us know in chat if you guys remember those numbers. Go back and watch yesterday's video. At the very end, we talk about those. Let us know in chat who you guys think are going to win. Team Tim. Yes.
Team Jeb. Hashtag Team Jeb. I want to hear it in chat.
Smay, the Turtle TA.
Team Smay, the Turtle TA. Boom. You got it here first. We need to see some Smay trading one day instead of day trading. Anyway, guys, that is now for real the end of our content. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.